Welcome to the Budget Debacle, The Problems with Fundraisers by Joshua Jackson. The problem. The parent foundation is in charge of raising all funding for supplemental programs. A new president takes charge of the foundation and immediately starts a competition with a foundation at a neighboring elementary school. The foundation comes up with a plan for new curriculum, presents it to the faculty committee, proposes a raffle for cash as a fundraiser to get the money needed for this new curriculum, gets approval for the fundraiser from the group, runs the fundraiser. Then the president gets arrested for running a raffle for cash without a permit from the state or the city or whoever was required to give them a permit that they obviously did not know about. There is no district foundation oversight, obvious. Also, the foundations of different elementary schools are allowed to compete with each other, which brings a greater amount of issues and possible divisions into the community that don't necessarily need to be there. The fact that the foundation president was arrested, it hurts the image of the foundation and the school by proxy. Now, obviously, the principal did his job by informing the new president of procedures, rules, governances, and so forth. I would assume that that also included him needing to make for sure that any permits necessary for fundraisers were acquired from the city or whatnot. Now, whether or not this president actually listened to him seems to be somewhat open for debate because the president, who was just elected, did, one, graduate from Harvard, and two, have a feeling that he knew better than what was. So therefore, he's going to toss what was, and he's going to go for something completely new and different. Usually a recipe for issues arising. Does the action contravene a law? Well, yes, they didn't get the correct permits from the government to run the raffle. They should have consulted the school's lawyer or other legal sources before running the fundraiser. And obviously, they did not. Going to the faculty committee is not the same as consulting a lawyer because the faculty do not know the law. And for that matter, as the advice is for any principal, when in doubt, ask an attorney. There's a reason why the school has them on retainer. And 3, an outside fund organization, preferably a bank, should be managing the funds. So you should be getting the financial reports and so forth from an actual bank, not being managed by the foundation, which there's very little evidence of this, but it almost leads you to the conclusion that it is managed with a bookkeeper who is probably also the treasurer, might also be the president of the organization. We have no way of knowing. My guess is that there were not enough oversight steps in place to make for sure that this kind of issue wouldn't happen, or if it did, they should have absolutely known about it, which it seems fairly obvious they didn't. The conclusion? The foundation didn't have the proper knowledge of the legal issues with fundraising for public institutions and in general. Yep. And now you don't have the money you were planning on having in your budget for those supplemental curriculum areas. The foundation is going to be hurting for people to participate in parent support. So obviously your foundation's going to be hurt. Briardale, the school, will be short funding because of a loss of fundraiser funds. So you're going to have to look at where else in the budget can you acquire funds to help supplement the programs. And this could lead to the possibility of the programs either being cut back or eliminated because of no funding. So, obviously, the issues. The supplemental curriculum will have a shortfall that was not anticipated. Parental foundation could lose focus or even disband because of bad publicity. District will not fund supplementals. Students who need those supplemental classes to encourage better academic achievement will be hurt, so the students come first. So what do? You need to start reallocating what funds you can into the provision for those classes so that they can at least get the bare minimum. This could be done through the title program. It could also come from other specialty sources for aiding students, and for some of them, you could also bring it possibly from the physical education budget, as you could argue that the psychomotor and physiological skills required in these supplemental classes are the same as what they would be practicing in PE, just a different set of muscles. The first thing you need to do, tell teachers to get creative, and they won't have a budget this year. The programs will slide, insufficient supplies for students. Rally the district office to support the programs, calls for change in district policy. Where would the money come from? Is there any extra? The district office should have been apprised of this situation throughout the entire proceedings. If they weren't, that needs to be corrected, obviously, in the future. And you need to be getting out and rallying the parents behind the students. Mistakes happen. Learn and move forward for the students. It will require a lot of personal effort and staff support to encourage. And you will need to make sure the parents are more educated on legal issues. And this would be harder to sell to the community. However, you could also go to the foundations of neighboring schools and explain that the situation does have fallout. What's bad for one foundation will negatively affect other foundations. So, obviously, we need a united front. You need to get them behind you as well, and they may be willing to offer some financial assistance as well. Of all the options, it is probably best long-term to try to rally the parents while getting the staff into safety mode. Make sure that they haven't spent any money for the programs yet, and holding off on any spending until it is certain that the money is there. Talking with the district office is always a good idea, but I wouldn't plan on any additional assistance from them, at least from what it sounds like. They are incredibly tight on giving out any kind of money for any programs that are not deemed basic skills, which is why my first argument would be making the case that these supplemental programs do reinforce basic skills and therefore do deserve the district funding in the first place. So, rally the parents. Place an immediate freeze on any spending of any supplemental classes. Rally the parents and teachers behind the foundation for the students. And finally, implementing. Get faculty informed of the situation. Get faculty together on finding solutions for issues that will occur within the building. Pre-planning. Since the negative press has already gone out, you have to put out the positive in large amounts to the community to keep them supporting you. Obviously, this will take more than what one person can do, so this is a job for a multitude of people. Remind the community of the importance of the programs that could be lost.